we are. Good morning, friends. Day 315. And we are off to a good start. Thanks for dropping by and for being here with me this morning. It is 5:11 or 11 minutes past 5 a.m. Where I'm at, which is in Amsterdam. And the day is about to start, and we're going to kick it off with some mobility and some leg training. I'm changing the program because I think usually Friday is clean and presses. I will be doing cleans, but I won't be doing a lot of or any overhead work because I am concerned about my shoulder, and I'm going to give it a bit of a rest. So we're going to do a bit more mobility this morning, and we're going to do some more with the legs. We're going to do squats and deadlifts and hip bridges, and just work on the lower body more and give the upper body a bit of a rest this morning. And for those of you who are just watching and who don't know my channel, my name is Toby. I'm 40 years old and I train to live an active, self-sufficient and adventurous life. I focus on my sleep, 7 to 9 hours a night. Tonight was 6 hours and 45 minutes of actual sleep according to my watch, so a bit on the shallow end, but let's see how the day evolves. I focus on my nutrition, what I eat. I try to eat healthy, wholesome meals, lots of vegetables, about 120 to 150 grams of protein, and I'm very honest, yes, I do have protein shakes and protein bars, also in my daily routine to help me meet that goal. I do weight training or resistance training, conditioning training, and mobility training, and all of that with the goal and purpose to get older and stay fit and healthy as I go through life. So if that's something you're interested in, you go ahead and check out my channel and maybe subscribe and let me know in the chat what it is that you're working on, because I'm always curious and interested to hear from people what they are doing when it comes to health and fitness, especially as we are getting older and older throughout life, but not necessarily staying healthy or free from disease and discomfort as we get older. So my goal is to be able to do a lot of the things that I want to do at 50, 60, 70, 80, and 90, also physically, to keep myself physically, mentally fit throughout my life. This is all about the way I feel. This is not about the way I look. I want to feel fit and competent for whatever life throws at me or whatever I feel like going after or going to do in life. And I think everyone has different fitness goals, maybe at different stages in life. So it's good to keep that in mind and be aware of the fact that whether your goal is to lose weight, or whether your goal is to look a certain way, or whether your goal is to get stronger, whether your goal is to build your endurance for an endurance event like a marathon, or whether you're training for any other kind of sport or just general health and fitness. All fitness and health goals are very personal and are all valid goals. Pursue what you want. For me, I've come to the conclusion that the reason for me to want to work out, to train, to spend 30 minutes every day actually trying to get fit and stay fit and healthy, is so that there are things that I can do in life, so that there are people that I can spend time with in life. When children play, they play on the floor. We have to be able to get up, down on the floor, get back up. But I also want to be able to march up a flight of stairs or 10 flights of stairs at work, for example, and just be able to do that, to have that level of fitness without being too concerned about what's going to happen to me. So those are some of the reasons why I train. And I always say that we are good just the way we are. We've got to love ourselves before we can move on, because it's the person that we are today that is going to help us get to the goals we set for ourselves, or become the person we want to become tomorrow. You know, I sometimes jokingly say everybody wants to be fit, but nobody wants to become fit. But I generally genuinely believe that if we're a bit kind to ourselves today, whether we meet all of our goals or the standard we set for the day or not, it will get us a long way in staying and being motivated to pursue our health and fitness goals. So there we have that. as well. And finally, friend, the only way to get anything done is by showing up and doing the work. So we're going to get started. It's 5:16 a.m. I'm going to turn on my timer, and like I said, we're going to start with some basic mobility, and then we're going to move on into some other areas. I'm changing up my regular strength routine slightly to accommodate my upper body and the need to give it a bit of a rest this week and next week probably. So that's what I am up to. What are you up to? I have a long drive ahead of me because I'll be working remote or from home, but remote today. And so it's also going to be nice to get some good exercise in before getting into the car and driving. But then what do I do once I get out of the car? Well, actually, I would much prefer to get out of the car and just go for a slightly longer walk, if at all possible. All right, here we go. Justin, let me see, but here I am. Hey, Justin, thanks for dropping by and saying hi. I hope you're doing well where you are in the world. Yeah, it's if you're further to the west, I guess, probably in the United States, it's near or is already time to go to sleep. But here you are, and I hope you're doing well. And sometimes we stay up a bit later and we scroll and browse or chatting with friends or playing games or watching a series we enjoy, and that's completely fine also. Like I just said, we shouldn't be too hard on ourselves. A bit of kindness goes a long way in terms of staying motivated and getting to the goals we want to get to. Thank you, I appreciate that. Do you do any kind of training yourself? Is that something you work on? Do you do any kind of sports where you are in the world? I usually have some people from Texas and California watching. Even someone from New York started to watch the stream recently. So, you're also that side of the world, I guess. So any cool sports that you're into that we in Europe aren't as familiar with, let me know. And thanks for dropping by. I appreciate that. Like I said at the start, I'm 40 years old, and I'm training to stay fit and healthy for life, which is why we're doing all of this. All right, I'm going to focus on breathing. I'm going to breathe in to my stomach, expand it, and then exhale. And again, breathe in, let the diaphragm push everything out and down, and breathe in. The timer's set to 60 seconds, by the way. So we have a lot of time to focus on the individual exercises. Which is also very pleasant. So, yeah. I do a circuit training class at 5 a.m. 5 times a week. Wow. That's really cool, but then you better do get to sleep in order to be able to wake up at 5 a.m. and perform, but also recover from that. But that's cool. And the circuit training, I'm guessing, is a mix of of conditioning and strength, or conditioning and strength and mobility. It's kind of like different types of machines that you work on, or is it with free weights? That's cool, you know. I would say I use kettlebells and clubs because I am training from home, and in terms of the facilities we have, at home, right? I'm standing in my kitchen to work out. It is 5:18 a.m., 5:22 a.m. at the moment. There is not a lot of space for me to set up an entire home gym. So kettlebells allow me most flexibility and versatility in the types of workouts and the challenges that they can offer me in terms of training. So that's why I use kettlebells, and I'm a big fan of kettlebells. But any kind of training, there's no, as my instructor when I was getting certified as a personal trainer told me, there's no rage against the machine. Any machine can get the work done in any or different ways. The most important thing is that we find the results we're after from, in this case, physical training, mobility training. I appreciate you all dropping by to say hi in the chat. I'll check the messages in a moment. So but working on mobility. BG, thanks for dropping by, I appreciate that. Kian Javar, hi. Kian, do I have TikTok? No, I do not have TikTok. I create on YouTube only. So I am only here on YouTube. There's a dead Instagram account, I think, but I should also just close that and end that, actually. But no, I don't spend time on other social media. And we're trying to pick apples, pears, cherries, or whatnot from the trees overhead. It's getting a nice stretch into that spine. There we go. And moving on to the world's greatest stretch. So it is November 1st, it's day 315. I think we're going to keep going into 2025 with these morning routines here, which for some of you might be evening routines, because at 40, I will now turn 41 next year. I can tell you, I feel incredibly fit and capable. And if you told me 2 years ago that I would enjoy this much freedom of movement, improvements in my strength, in my mobility, I might have somewhat laughed at you. But here we are. The consistency really pays off, and what I would hope for anyone who's watching is that if you watch and follow me, if you subscribe to my channel and chat with me every day, maybe it becomes a bit easier for you to be consistent every day, to show up and do the work. And the work could be 10 minutes, 15 minutes, 20 minutes, 30 minutes, an hour, 2 hours. Could vary on different days. But maybe by being in this together, we can actually make more of our health and fitness than we maybe believe is possible at the moment. And everyone I know, sorry about that cough, everyone I know is slightly suffering from a bit of a cold or a bit of a cough, a bit of misery. We've just had it in the house. Everyone seems to be catching this bug, and I have a slight feeling of dread that I am next on the target list. So another reason for me to keep showing up and working out is because I believe that in the long run, my immune system is better off because I eat healthy and I sleep well and I work out frequently. Karia, good morning. How are you doing this morning? I hope you're doing well. I hope you slept well and you're having a good start of the day. I was just thinking, actually, I'm traveling to the UK Wednesday, Thursday, and Friday for work, so we'll be in the same time zone, and I will be streaming from the office gym, probably early in the morning during my trip, so you can catch me at your time instead of my time. Not sure if that'll work out though, because I think it'd be an hour earlier. So it's going to be 4:30 when the streams start next week. And so that this cough that is sneakily crawling in to my life now goes away. It's a very nasty bug because it's been around for weeks. You know, you notice it on and off, but it doesn't really settle in. But now it seems to be taking a bit of a stronger hold. And that is something that we're trying to avoid, if possible. Well, with bugs, you don't really have a lot to say about it. So, this is going to be a good Friday. You do a good workout, and like I said, after I drive for an hour later, I'm going to go for a nice walk. And then I'm going to spend the day preparing a business presentation that I need to host next week, which is an important one for me and for the team. So we are putting in quite a bit of time and effort to prepare, and I have my first dry run today because I think with everything else, like work, these kinds of meetings and presentations are like a competition or setting a PR. You set a goal and you work towards it, and you also train towards it, and you show up every day to do this kind of training to stay fit and healthy with sports. But in work and business, it is probably just as important to do the same thing. So, first dry run today of the outline. And we have the weekend, Monday, Tuesday, and Wednesday to finalize the preparations, practice 3 more times, and then take it from there. So yeah. that's what I'll be spending my day and week on, and I need to file my expenses, of course. What about you? What are you going to be working on today, or what have you worked on today, or will you work on tomorrow if it's nighttime for you, where you're at? Let me know in the chat, in the comments, and for those of you who just going by, start watching, my name's Toby. I'm 40 years old, and I train for a living an active, self-sufficient, and adventurous life. So that's something you're interested in. Follow the stream, obviously, hit that like button. Also go ahead and check out my channel and subscribe, and we can be on this journey together. I'm here every day, and if that's something you're interested in or want to accomplish for yourself, we can talk about how you can do that and create a rhythm like that for yourself. Neil Clark, thank you. I appreciate that. And I'm grateful, Neil, that you're here today. I hope you're well where you are in the world. And George JD, he's evolving. George, thanks for dropping by. I appreciate you dropping by and saying hi. And thanks for the support. And is that a Dragon Ball Z reference by any chance? Because if it is, that's really cool. I actually, when I was a teenager and into martial arts, I would do my gym training while watching, or my conditioning training, cardio training on one of those stationary bikes with a TV. We're talking the 2000s here, right? And I would watch Dragon Ball Z to keep myself motivated, to keep doing the training, so that I would become a better martial artist at the time. So there you go. Something throwback to an old memory. So hey, it's going to be a busy week. It's going to be a fun weekend. Been invited to a friend's house on Saturday afternoon for a tabletop role-playing game, horror game, I think. And he hosts and runs those kinds of games. And it's rare that we get to play in person. It's quite nice to be around the table, actually, with people I don't know, for a fun afternoon of chills and thrills, with a very good storyteller. Balancing me time, family time, and responsibilities is important. So beyond that, have any of you given any thought to the challenges that 2025 might bring? Still not very much on your mind, right? Because if you're planning to make any kind of change for your health and fitness specifically is what I talk about, but there might be other things you want to change. When is a good time to start? Well, obviously, in my opinion, any day is a good day for change. But since we're heading towards the season of New Year's resolutions, and people are thinking about it more and more, I thought I would get a head start by creating 4 small lifestyle challenges that will help us understand where our biggest challenges lie in terms of making lasting changes that will impact our overall health and fitness as we get closer to 2025. Because I think as people, we sometimes underestimate what goes into creating lasting behavior changes, even slight ones, and therefore don't set ourselves up for success when it comes to making changes that are going to benefit our health and fitness in the long run. And I keep coming back to this every day in the stream because every day is an opportunity for change. And I'll tell you a small personal victory of mine, by the way. Yesterday, I successfully avoided the candy jar at work. And for anyone who's been following my stream for a while knows that for the last 2 months I have been engaged in a psychological warfare with a can of candy that is parked about 5 meters away from me in the office, because every day I ended up going over there, and then once I went over there once, I would keep going over there, and I would just keep eating candy. Now, I am a human being, fallible and imperfect, and that's fine. And I know that sometimes people look at people online and think, huh? But if you have a channel, aren't you supposed to be 100% in control and able to make all of these changes? No. Anyone who pretends that that is the case is probably lying to you, or is not human, which means they're an AI. So definitely, no, you have to consider whether you want to take their advice or trust them. But overall, those are the little challenges and the little victories that over the course of a lifetime make a big difference in how healthy and fit we actually end up being. So anyway, yesterday, after months of strategizing and trying and sometimes succeeding for half the day, sometimes failing, sometimes succeeding again, I finally got through an entire day of not sticking my hand into the candy jar. Want to know how I did it? Let me know in the comments. Say, tell me about it. And I will gladly tell you about it and what happened. Moving on. Big Dog Status 83. I hope you're doing well. Thanks for dropping by and saying hi and being in the chat. And I appreciate you being here and hanging out with me. Thank you so much. Loving Dean. Mine be gone. Well, folks, all this wealth, and candy, good on you. Interesting conversation in the chat today about yoga specifically in Korea. Yes, I am very happy about being able to have been able to do that yesterday. And today I'm not even going to the office, so we're going to have 2 days of a win, which for me is a big double yes on that. And I'm just going to share a little reminder: be kind and respectful in the chat, please. It says so at the top. I do occasionally block people, but I also like to welcome people in to the chat for a conversation. And yeah, it's not, there is half truth to that, right? It's not the candy that we're after, but it is a bit of the sugar rush, I guess you might call it, or the experience of sweetness. But for me, it's also, I explained that the other day, a throwback to when I was a kid. And that type of candy, it's also a particular type of candy because there's a lot of different candy there. But in Holland, I grew up eating licorice. So there's also a bit of nostalgia. My dad and I would eat it, for example. My mom would hide it and go find it and sneak some up to my bedroom and eat it there. Related directly to that taste and smell, and to be very honest, it's kind of disgusting. I don't really enjoy eating it, so there's something else driving that behavior, right? But in any case, a small victory. So let me tell you how I did it. Because there was some strategy involved that might be beneficial to all of us if we're on a sort of a health and fitness journey, trying to make minor changes in life. So one of the things that we need to understand about behavior like that, like eating, eating that kind of candy, is that it is a sequence of behaviors, right? I say, or I walk up to the micro kitchen, I open the candy jar, look at it, open it, I check inside to see which candy is in there, then I pick out the candy that I want, and then I eat it, and then the moment I eat it, I take out more pieces of candy to eat in the 3 or 4 minutes after that as well. It's not even like I'm sitting there enjoying the candy for 10 minutes, just basically eating 1, 2, 3, 4, and then moving on with the day. And to make any kind of change, we want to sort of figure out how to interrupt that pattern. We're going to try a slightly different version of the Cossack squat, by the way. And I can see that that is a lot harder to do than I thought. So we want to figure out a way to interrupt that pattern smartly and effectively. So how do we do that? Well, there are different options, right? And very powerful modes of controlling impulses are 1, breathing, and 2, forcing ourselves to consume something else before we get to the consumption of something we're trying to avoid. So in this case, what did I do? I stopped, and there's also a tap and glasses there for water. So the moment I would walk into the micro kitchen, I would grab a glass of water, fill up the glass of water, take a sip, and then tell myself I'm not going to have the candy, put the glass away, and immediately leave. And what I'm trying to do is I'm trying to obviously turn that into the pattern of behavior that will replace the need to go to the candy jar. Now we're going to start the leg workout, by the way. Now this has some pros and cons, but just to think about it, yeah. Just to think about it, I'm going to move the microphone over to a different pocket because it's slightly uncomfortable. Maybe this is better. To think about it, to maintain that kind of pattern, actually a couple of things need to happen. When I have the option between the glass and the candy jar, I need to always first pick up the glass. But the fact that I interrupted the process of going into that micro kitchen and walking straight to the candy jar gave me enough frame of mind and space in my mind to drive a different decision. And this is a key to any kind of behavior change that is not geared towards learning a new skill, but to changing a pattern of behavior that is slightly disruptive or not conducive to the longer term goals we've set ourselves. So I just want to be mindful of that. And understand that as we want to change an old pattern of behavior, this could apply to eating anything else as well. What we are actually trying to do is we're trying to create an interruption of the pattern that sets us up to do that thing. In my case, eating candy that I shouldn't be eating. Right? So that's how I created that little victory yesterday. Eugene Buckets. Is it paused? I hope it's not paused. Maybe I'm standing still, but thanks for dropping by and saying hi. And Korea, thanks for understanding what kind of a little big victory that was yesterday with the candy. Now all I need to do is be consistent with that 5 days a week when I'm in the office, and we'll 100% get there over time. So, what are your plans for the weekend? If you're on the stream and watching, let me know. My name is Toby. I'm 40 years old if you're new to this channel, and I train for living an active, self-sufficient and adventurous life, not only now, but also when I'm 50, 60, 70, 80, because I've understood that I might live to be 100. So what I try to do is I try to show up every day and do a workout, which is either mobility, strength, or conditioning. Today, you can see we're doing some strength training. We're doing some strength training in order to reach that goal. So I work on my sleep, I work on my nutrition, I work on strength, I work on conditioning, and I work on mobility. If that's something you're interested in, go ahead and subscribe to my channel, and we can be on this journey together. I'm a personal trainer, I'm a kettlebell trainer, which are certifications that I've gotten, so I'm able to better train at home. But I like to talk about my experiences and what I've learned and what I've done and what I am doing to get fit and healthy and to stay fit and healthy. And I believe health and fitness is very personal. So if that's something you're interested in, you go ahead and hit the like button on this video and subscribe, and we can continue this conversation now and in the future. So, let's talk about the weekend, right? Drinking water always helps. Binge eating, especially you wake up hungry, usually 2 glasses, so does the trick. It's always good to start off the morning with a glass of water, and indeed having a glass of water before a meal can help with some appetite and portion management for sure. It's very true. It's very true. I've noticed that in my experience as well. Which brings us back to the first challenge we're starting next week in learning to understand our goals and the purpose behind our goals, but also the structures in our lives and the skills that we'll need to live fit and healthy for an extended period of time, which will be to have that 1 glass of water every day for a week. So if that's something you're interested in, because I'm doing 4 challenges over the next 4 weeks to highlight how challenging it can be to learn and adapt new skills, new behaviors into the structures of our life when our goal is to get fit and healthy ahead of 2025, so that when 2025 comes, we will actually be better equipped to make some of the bigger changes that maybe we want to make to become fitter and healthier over the course of the year, like I have in 2024. So again, if that's something you're interested in, you know where the subscribe button is, friends. So we're talking about the weekend, right? Why do I want to talk about the weekend? Well, the weekend is a great time for family and friends, for relaxing, for personal things. But there are also always things that need to happen, like I need to take a whole bunch of garbage to the dump. So, last set of deadlifts, by the way. For example, some of the lights need to be replaced. I'm not sure if you can see it overhead, but only one of the 2 spots is currently working. So we have minor challenges like those that we need to be mindful of, that also need to happen on the weekend. But also, usually the weekend is the time where we go and party and do things, right? Where we have so-called free time. All right. And sometimes we tend to go out for dinners, we tend to eat and drink, and then the weekend comes to an end and we start our regular healthy living routine again. And a big part of fitness and health is nutrition. Now, I think everyone should enjoy their weekends the way they want to enjoy them. But just like the candy jar, when it comes to maintaining the same level of weight, we're not talking about weight loss or weight gain. We're not talking about sport-specific nutrition. We're just talking about staying the way we are over an extended period of time. Weight management has very little to do with working out and has a lot to do with what we eat. So the old saying, you can't out-train a poor diet, is very true and applies specifically to the weekends, because we don't realize how many extra calories we might run the risk of consuming Friday, Saturday, and Sunday. But generally, if you do that once a month or once every 2 months and you have a reasonably active lifestyle, like say you wake up every morning and you work out for 30 to 45 minutes every morning, you might be less prone to suffer any ill consequences or negative consequences to your health and fitness over time, because a single night out or a single splurge isn't going to affect your weight too much in the long run. But it sounds like someone's waking up upstairs and might be headed for the television in the living room. Let's find out on the next episode of your friend Toby's morning routine. But if you do that 3 days in a row, right, every week, 50 weeks of the year, that slight, and usually it's not a slight surplus on the weekend, might add up to a result that you didn't intend to achieve. And I think it's important for us to realize how much, definitely someone waking up, how much we, oh, hang on a second, I just need to go upstairs and check something. So here we are, back again. As always, David, good to see you. Thank you very much. Thanks for dropping by. I hope you're doing well where you're at in the world. I just needed to get one of the kids sorted as they woke up. And we have 2 stairs in the house. And then I always need to close one of the gates. The oldest one can walk up and down the stairs independently. The youngest definitely cannot. So that's what we were doing before. What was I talking about? I was talking about the weekends, right? So the unintended consequence of 50 high-calorie weekends in a year is that no matter how much effort we put into Monday through Friday or Sunday through Thursday, more likely, right, we're always going to run into a slight issue in terms of not being able to balance that out with the amount of drinking and eating we do on the weekends. So for me, over the years, what that has meant and turned into now we're getting into the double kettlebell ranges. We're going to alternate squats and rows. What that means is that regardless of how how hard we want to push ourselves, being aware of the fact that weight management, so staying at the same weight over an extended period of time, which is a really good indicator of health, by the way. Weight always fluctuates, but around a baseline, right? For me, that's around 88, 87 kilos at the moment. I'm trying to stay steady at. That requires understanding what level of consumption actually is going to keep us at that level of health and fitness, and then planning our weeks and weekends towards that. So just keep that in mind, friends, that when it comes to staying fit and healthy, there are a lot of tiny considerations that build upon each other. And over time, what we want to do is we want to translate those into habits and routines that are going to help us reach and meet the health goals that we have. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. And the same with going to the jar of candy, changing the pattern of eating and drinking on the weekends to be more aligned with our long-term and short-term health and fitness goals. There are demands, responsibilities, commitments, but there's also the social circle that we spend our weekends with, which are part of the commitment maybe, right? So it's always worth looking into. I'm not saying we need to change our friends, but asking ourselves the questions, how in control am I when it comes to working on my health and fitness goals? Do I have the knowledge and skills to work on my health and fitness goals the way I want to work on them? And the people that care about me? Do they want me to be healthy and fit in life? If those kinds of questions are top of mind for you, more power to you, because they'll help you kind of understand where the challenges lie in the weekends and where you can make minor changes, like if the nighttime and the evenings are important, what can you do for breakfast and lunch to accommodate, consuming 3,000 calories of food and drink after 5 p.m. So these are things to consider. That we all probably need to consider as we go through life and different phases of our lives. We have different considerations for these kinds of things. So if those kinds of insights and conversations are of interest to you, and you're watching right now, this is what I talk about during my live streams in the morning. We've been at it for almost an hour. Like I said, it feels like my streams are getting longer and longer, and it's because I just enjoy talking with you when you ask me questions or leave me a comment in the chat this early in the morning. But I'm also going to have to wrap up shortly because one of the kids is up, and of course we are now going to spend some nice quality time playing with Legos or doing something, as he is patiently waiting for me to be done. And I'm very proud of him for being so patient and quiet upstairs at the moment. So, those are just a couple of thoughts that I thought I'd share this morning. If any of that if any of you have any questions, go ahead and ask in the chat. If Alice, my friend, good morning. Thanks for dropping by, saying hi. I hope you're doing well. I hope you're having a good day wherever you are in the world. Final set of rows, one more set of squats, and we're going to be done for the day. Nothing like a good set of squats and rows to get your sweating in the morning. All right, friends, final set, squats, double 16s. Here we go. And look, I became Batman. That's it. We are done for today. Nice and easy. Nothing too intense. 54 minutes of working out. Mobility leg day. And as I explained, I'm a bit concerned about my shoulder. So I'm giving it a rest. Let's see what the physiotherapist has to say next week. Friends, for those of you dropping by, thanks, Valis. I appreciate you being here today as well and sharing and spreading some kindness through the world. And we wish the same to you, I'm sure, where you are. I know I do. That's it for today, friends. We're done. And for those of you who are watching, my name's Toby. I'm 40 years old and I train to live an active, self-sufficient and adventurous life, not only now, but when I'm 50, 60, 70, 80, 90, because I want to live a life that is free of discomfort and disease, where I can go out and do the things that I want to do on my terms. This is not about the way I look, this is all about the way I feel. I want to feel fit and competent for life. I want to be able to play on the floor with my kids. I want to be able to hang from the monkey bars and do 10 pull-ups. And I want to be able to do that all, not only now, but also in the future. So that's what we're working towards. I work on my sleep, 7 to 9 hours a night. Tonight was 6 hours, 45 minutes. So let's see, that's still on the border of being okay. Anything below 6.5, I know becomes a problem. I work on my nutrition. I just talk about weekends, because the weekend is here, but in general, also, I try to be mindful of what I eat vegetables, eat healthy, and eat between 120 and 150 grams of protein. I do strength training, conditioning training, and mobility training. And you can follow that on stream every day here. I'm here every morning, showing up and doing the work with you. And maybe that helps you find a rhythm by coming here and chatting with me. If that's something you're interested in, go ahead, like and subscribe and join me on my journey. Let's see. Marvelous. Looking good. Thank you, Marvelous. I appreciate that. And I hope you're doing well where you are in the world. Donna Chamberlain. I can tell you being consistent. I respect your discipline. Oh, Marvelous. Thank you very much. And I appreciate you calling that out. And thanks for dropping by to chat and sharing that. I appreciate that a lot. Your sound is a lot better today. What did you do? Mr. White. Mr. White. Is that a Breaking Bad reference? Mr. White. I think the other day I was wearing a different microphone and I figured out there's something wrong with the jack that connects it to my transmitter. So I'm using a different microphone and I'm sending the other one back, the headset, waiting for it to get fixed. I would prefer to have the headset back because this one, I'm not quite sure how the sound works when I move a lot. That one I have a bit more comfort with it being right next to my face. So if I do a push-up, it doesn't brush the ground or the weights don't bang into the microphone when I do cleans, things like that. Then we'll test it when it comes back again. But thanks for being back, Mr. White. I appreciate that, and I hope you're doing well where you are in the world as well. Carlo Gil Cabrera. Me gustaría verte haciendo ejercicio en boxer. Entiendo un poco de español, amigo, y how do I say I understand? Entiendo que es confortable, pero these are shorts, not boxers. But I understand why working out in boxers in the privacy of your living room might be comfortable. Indeed. Thanks for sharing a joke, making me smile this morning. And espero que estás bien donde tú eres en el mundo. ¿Sí? Muchas gracias por comunicar conmigo ahí. And Mr. White, you already seem like a really cool dude, very nice and humble. I'll take that as a compliment. Thank you very much. I appreciate you saying that. This is what you see on the stream, right? There's 23 and a half other hours to the day, and I try to walk my talk, so to speak, in life. But I've been around for 40 years. I've had my ups and downs, and I've learned a lot. So if that's something we're interested in, go ahead, join me, subscribe, and we can continue these conversations over videos and stream. Friends, we're good just the way we are. We've got to love ourselves before we can move on. And I say that because sometimes we're a bit too hard on ourselves wherever we are in life today, not realizing that it's who we are today. It's going to get us to where we want to be tomorrow. And a bit of kindness, especially to ourselves, goes a long way, because remember, there are more than enough people who are willing to put you down or make you feel bad about yourself out there. We don't need to do it to ourselves. We need to stick up for ourselves, always. And the only way to get anything done, friends, by showing up and doing the work. It's 6:16 a.m. I'm going to make myself a cup of coffee, play with my son, and you go ahead and have a great day. And I look forward to seeing you tomorrow if you subscribe on my next stream. Take care, friends. And my B, thank you, and I wish the same for you. Have a great day. Take care.